Welcome, everyone, to another broadcast of Southern Virginia Athletics. Tonight, Art Furler here with Mike Harmon here in the arena on the campus of Southern Virginia University, where women's volleyball will host the captains of Christopher Newport. Mike, a very difficult contest for the Knights here this evening.
Very difficult contest, especially for the first game in the Capital Conference. Christopher Newport comes in ranked number 3 in the nation. Their only 2 losses are to the number 1 and number 2 teams in the nation.
And they took both of those teams to 5 sets.
Exactly, and they have the reigning player of the week.
Lots and lots of difficulty to go through.
We're coming to you.
Lots of difficult things we're coming into. We've looked a little bit in the pregame. The biggest thing, the 2 losses they had, as you mentioned, the number 1 and number 2 teams currently. Emory at 15-2, their most recent loss. Boy, the number 1 team right now has dropped 9 sets in 15 matches. They're 15-0. They've not dropped a match, but 9 total sets. That's tough.
That's, again, different level of volleyball that we're talking about. When you get to the top 10, it's one of those issues where it's another step up.
Well, and Christopher Newport, a perennial powerhouse in the Capital Athletic Conference. It'll be very interesting to see how much the Knights can contain them, particularly starting early. If you can get them off balance a little bit to start, you can start to gain an advantage. But, boy, otherwise, once they get rolling, they will be very difficult to stop.
Yeah, and the one they have to stop is Brianna Sutton, number 7, who's had 88 kills in the last 3 matches.
Very, very difficult. We're going to break away here for just a second for the prayer national anthem, and we'll be back with you in just a moment. Alrighty, just about ready to get underway here again. For those of you who just joined us, the Southern Virginia Knights getting ready to host the Christopher Newport Captains. Very, very difficult contest here for the Knights. Mike, when you know that the opponent you're up against is at this point nationally ranked, top 5 ranked, how does your preparation differ as a coach?
You prepare the same way as you would during the rest of the week. You just tell your kids to play with no fear. You have nothing to lose, and Christopher Newport has everything to lose. A loss tonight would really knock them out of the top 10.
Great point, great point. We do have the starting lineups coming out right now. First for Christopher Newport, as you see, a little theatrics we've put together here in the arena, try to get a little bit more of a home court advantage as we introduce the home team. We'll give you those starters first. Mike, you have those for us?
Yeah, Christopher Newport, starting number 1 is Rachel Conaway. Number 6, Evelyn Harper. Number 7, Brianna Sutton. Number 10, Hannah Miller. Number 14, Abby McIntyre. Number 15, Ashley Rock. And the libero will be number 16, Rachel Close.
And then for Southern Virginia as well.
Southern Virginia right now, they're going to start number 4 at libero, Afamoa Samfong. Number 5, Melissa Owen. Number 9, Claire Hotelin. Number 11, Hannah Phillips. Number 12, Allison Teagues. Number 13, Emma Evans. And number 14, Valerie Beatty.
A couple of changes in that roster, particularly Ofa coming back in the lineup will be an interesting change for the Knights compared to what we saw here last week. Delaney Layton not getting the start. She really did was a major contributor last week. We'll see if Ofa can do the same for them.
And we'll have to also watch the two stars of the team. Again, we talked about Sutton being the National Player of the Week, averaging over 4 kills per set. Also on the Knights side, Allison Teagues averaging over 4 kills a set. You walk in as a freshman and you get thrown into a conference where you have to play nationally ranked. Now she's really going to see if she's prepared to take that next step.
Absolutely. You get better by playing difficult competition, and the Knights definitely have some difficult competition tonight. They'd love to come away with the win, but if nothing else, a great growing opportunity, see what the Knights can put together.
Another advantage that the Knights have is their setter is 6 foot tall. When she gets up onto the front row, she is much more of a threat than someone that's 5'5", such as Beatty.
Excellent point. We'll see how that plays out here in this match as well. Just getting ready to get underway here. A couple little wet spots on the floor. We had a lot of rain here the last few days. Flash flood warnings, road closings all over the place. Glad Christopher Newport was able to get here safely for this contest. And with that, we're about ready to get underway here. Abby McIntyre for the captains, ready to start things off here at the first set as Southern Virginia hosts Christopher Newport. Played well in the back line, back to the front. Whoa, and a great shot that time, played long. Allison Teagues got a little bit of help on that one. Looked like it would have gone long out of bounds, but off the hands of a Christopher Newport player, a little anxious.
Yeah, again, it takes a little while to get warmed up. That's where the Knights have to take advantage of these first few points.
And an uncharacteristic second misplay. Boy, that time McIntyre right off of her hands. Great start for the Knights. Can't hope for any better. Teagues again. Sinker. Drops in, tip shot over. Played off the hands of Owen. Looks like she was expecting something harder, but the nice soft touch able to play off the side of her hands. The Knights unable to adapt.
And unfortunately, that was Sutton, and she's a shot maker.
Play over to the Knights. Beatty. Hard off the hands there, Hoteling. To the back line, Beatty. Over to Ofa. Touched over the top of the net. Handled well so far by the captains and able to play it off the back line. Great job again. Over to Beatty. Owen gets it over, but free ball to the captains. High set to the outside, put down hard. Ofa plays it again to Beatty. Roll shot over the top, tipped at the line by Rock to the back line. Back to the captains. Dug out again. Very long rally so far to the back line, and that will be point to the Knights. Rachel Close for the captains, playing that a little too far for the net. Team unable to adapt to it, and the Knights leading 3-1 so far.
We see a lot of right side attacks by the Knights. That's going to put Sutton in a lot of blocking situations and could wear her out as the match goes on.
Very possible. Now we have Ofamosam Fong serving for the Knights. Low over the net. Hard shot down the line, dug out again. Beatty to the outside, push shot over and finding the floor, Hannah Phillips. Great start so far by Southern Virginia.
Again, the Knights have come out with that attitude of nothing to lose. We're in our home gym. Let's go ahead and play as hard as we can.
And it's working out for them so far. Now leading 4-1. Service staying with Southern Virginia. Long to the back line. Wisely played that time. The captains let it sail out. 4-2. Service back over to the captains. Rachel Conway, the 6-foot senior, trying to change the momentum. Phillips to Beatty. That one a little too long. Wonder if that quick short serve caught the Knights off guard just a little bit.
It could have.
Layton. Back to Beatty. Nice touch shot. Boy, touch shots have been the name of the game so far for both squads.
Well, that time the captain sent 3 up to block out of the middle. The 2 short corners are going to be very wide open.
5-3 now. The Knights back with possession. Claire Hotailing sends the service over. Back serve, nice touch shot again. Ofa able to get under it. The Knights keep it alive. Sent back over. Great job by Layton. Hard shot that time. Dug out. It stays inbounds. Beatty. Phillips with the touch shot. Great set there at the front. Double set. And then from the back, roll shot. That time not able to get underneath it. Great effort by both squads.
Sometimes those roll shots, they just hang in the air so long you can't get your feet going.
Yeah, a little bit of a sinker sometimes as well. That one just went over the net and dropped. That one, service into the net. Brianna Sutton, perhaps the commentator's curse mentioning her in pregame.
Well, she did play. They played 4 hard matches over the weekend. You don't know how much that takes out of your body until you get onto the floor the next time.
Absolutely. Phillips now at the service line. Dug out by the captains. Back set again. Hard shot down the line. Dug out by Phillips. Over in 2. Able to keep it alive after Beatty put it over. Hard shot, but it sails long. Unable to snap the wrist, Coach?
Yeah, Teagues just got too much underneath it and wasn't able to pull her wrist down on top of it.
Yeah.
She needs to be looking at the high hands and just aim for that all the time.
Yeah, it was a great set that time, maybe getting a little anxious for it. Off the hands that time plays Evans. Long to the back line goes Hotailing. Set back to the front, touch shot over. Great job by Hotailing to get low for it. And kept alive for the moment. Sent back over, short set, and that's going to go down off Hotailing's hands. Captains starting to get comfortable.
And that may be where the captains have a huge advantage over the Knights, is those little quick sets. Their athletes are just able to get off the ground a little bit faster.
Yeah, we talked about in the last broadcast as well, those out-of-system plays. The captain's really good at getting back into system quickly. Touch shot over the top. Back over to the Knights. A little touch to the outside corner goes Evans. Off on the rope kind that time for the captains. Shot by Hannah Miller.
Metcord got it, and now it looks like the Knights, the captains are starting to get a little bit of rhythm. The Knights getting a little bit out of sync, so it's a good sub by the Knights right now.
Caden Smith in the lineup now, and she gets the set. Hard shot that time by Emma Evans, but great block at the net by Christopher Newport. 6-8 now, the captain's back in control. Short set, played up the net by Ofa. Great job finding the gap on that one. Allison Teagues finding the floor through a pretty narrow gap.
Again, is that left-handed gap that she was able to find. The right-hander would have been stuffed.
Emma Evans at the service line. The Knights trail by 1. Rolling into the back. Short set and executed very well. That shot, Hannah Miller finding the back of the Knights area, keeps it in bounds. Able to close out that service very quickly.
Yeah, Miller at 5'11" was able to go over Caden Smith at 5'9".
Sorting things out a little bit, make sure we're ready to go. Service back over to Christopher Newport. Evelyn Harper, the 5'6" junior, now with the service. Fielded well by the Knights. That time the net cord is kind.
Oh, they call no touch. Oh, there's touch right here.
Absolutely, that was a very clear touch. Allison Teagues able to put that down hard, and Melissa Owen immediately jumping to her defense saying, hey, that would have been inbounds had it not been played off the hands of a defender.
Valerie Beatty back in. The Knights trying to run a sort of a 6-2 system.
Dug out by the captains. Hard shot to the corner, keeping it in bounds. Abby McIntyre with a hard shot, and she'll take that right back to the service line. The Knights now trailing 8-10 here in the first set. Very short serve. Owen able to get underneath it to Beatty. And hard shot through Allison Teagues.
And that's where Allison's at her best, is on that right-hand side. Again, anything the Knights can do to run her to that right-hand side on regular rotations would be great.
Teague scores the point. Now she's back to the service line, and that one sails wide. 9-11 now. The game's still close.
There's Delaney Layton going in on the back row for Allison Teagues, and that's kind of what we've talked to Coach about. And in her usual rotation, Allison will come out on the back row.
Rachel close now with service for Christopher Newport. Phillips, Beatty, Owen, good adjustment, able to get that one over. And it goes inbounds. That's a point over to Christopher Newport.
And Melissa Owen was in the net also, the referee called.
Over to Phillips, Beatty, Owen, blocked.
And that's where Melissa has to see where the double block is coming from. The short corner over on the right-hand side will be wide open on that particular hit.
Service over to the Knights. Layton, Beatty, push shot over by Hotailing. And boy, great opportunity that time. Brianna Sutton, great set for her, gets a lot of height on it, but goes just wide. And the Knights capitalize on that. Now 10-13, looking to close the gap. Ofamoa now. And that one outside. And we'll give service back over to the captains. That's the kind of thing you really just can't afford to do.
Especially against a top-ranked team like this. If they're going to give you opportunities, you have to take advantage of them and not give the opportunities right back to them.
Phillips handles that to Beatty. Hotailing off the hands of the defender. Back to the captains. Push shot over. Not able to get underneath it. Ashley Rock with the point that time for Christopher Newport.
And that's a smart play by Rachel Conway. She knows that Sutton's not in rhythm. She's going away from her. Let the game come to her on her own.
Service to the back line. Layton. Great that time. Played off the hands of Brianna Sutton. But nobody following up. Again, a little bit of it's mine, it's yours. It's the floors.
And again, now the Knights have another opportunity. They need to score on this serve.
Hotailing sends it over. And a hard shot right down the middle that time. Maddie McCann right through the hands of the defenders.
Yeah, she split Emma Evans' hands, and that's just something that can't happen to a middle blocker.
Ofa, Beatty, right through the hands of the defenders. Great hard shot by Phillips. You can see it went right into the defender's hands, but rolled off the two of them, able to slip it through.
And that's the second time we've seen it happen to Evans. It's happens now. It is kind of humid in here, and the ball may be getting a little slippery and being able to slip through hands a little bit easier.
Absolutely. Phillips with the service over to the captains. Hard shot, played well at the line by the Knights. Beatty. And blocked hard that time. Great job, Allison Teagues into the defender.
I think that was a gift by the...
I don't know what you're talking about, Mike.
By the referees. It's a point, though. And you got to take advantage of all these gifts.
Off the hands of the defenders, out of bounds. Hannah Phillips now with the service. And just long. And you get the gift and then give it right back. 13-17. The Knights performing well, though, keeping it within 4 against a team of this caliber. They'd love to close the gap a little bit more. See if they can do so right here. Beatty, touch shot over by Evans. And again, miscommunication. Very surprising. The captains a few times now, just nobody going for it.
Well, one of the things is we're playing in a very small arena. The captains are used to playing in a very cavernous arena, not having the sidelines that close or people that close to them. They're used to be playing away and having a lot of open space. This close space may be playing with their minds.
Much lower ceiling as well. Gives you a lot less time to make decisions. That one sent down hard. Good shot by Hannah Miller.
That was a great connection. Those are the connections we like to see the Knights make.
Absolutely. Well, like I said, you learn by playing difficult opponents. So there's something to draw from right there. Hotailing, Beatty. Hard shot down by Teagues. Stays in bounds for the moment, and it will be a free ball over the Knights. Fong, Beatty. Ooh, alive for the moment. Can only play it into the net so many times, and it gets uncomfortable. And that's going to be a timeout taken by Coach Nicole Gwynn. The Knights has a very strong start to this first set, and then kind of progressively, it's just starting to get away from them a little bit. Down 5 now, 6 points till that 25-point mark. What are you saying in the huddle, Mike?
Again, you're trying to remind them, hey, we got nothing to lose. Let's get back and just play loose and play the game the way that we believe it's supposed to be played. Also remind them, you've got no pressure. This is the number 3 team in the nation. When did you ever expect to play?
Everyone expects you to lose.
Exactly.
So if you win, great. If not, it's as expected.
Yeah, if you win, it's more than great. You've just vaulted to the top of the CAC right there. Now you have the bullseye on your back.
Well, and you make a great point because this is the first CAC game for either team. All the pre-season, per se, is done. Now it starts counting. And so if you make a win here, all of a sudden you're 1-0. The past is behind you, and you're number 1.
Oh, and you've made a statement, too, by beating Christopher Newport, who should, by all rights, be number 1 in the conference, as they were last year. But because there's an off-balance schedule, you don't play everybody twice. You don't see Christopher Newport again until the conference tournament.
Interesting point. So far, as we've said, a good showing so far. The Knights still within striking distance. Seeing if they can close the gap here as we look to end the first set. Server still with Christopher Newport. Evelyn Harper at the line. Fong, Beatty, Phillips. Able to keep it alive are the captains. Hard shot from the back line. Phillips, Beatty, Owen finding the floor. The Knights ending that service. Good timeout.
Great timeout. Again, nice decision by Melissa to go high hands instead of trying to bury it straight through the arms.
That'll send number 14, Valerie Beatty, back to the service line for the Knights. Oh, over on 2. Smart, heady play that time. I believe that was Rachel Conway opting for the over on 2.
And at a 6-foot setter, you never know. If she jumps, you don't know if she's going to take it over, if she's going to set it. So that's a definite advantage for her.
Phillips, Beatty, Hotailing, kept alive for the moment, not so much. Point over the Knights. And they are refusing to let the captains extend that lead beyond about 4 points. But the opportunities to close that gap are dwindling. And it stays in. Call that time by the back judge. He's going to call it in. Evelyn Harper deciding it was going to go long incorrectly. That one, not so much.
And that's where Allison will learn as a freshman. She'll learn as she grows up that you serve an ace, you cannot serve it out of bounds the next time. You have to do whatever it takes to keep it in.
Absolutely, especially if it's based on the other team's misplay. You really have to build on that momentum. Service coming in, Rachel Close. Phillips, Beatty. Phillips off the hands of the defender, kept alive. Back to the front, good set, touch pass. Phillips, Owen over in 2, but blocked at the line by the captains.
Yeah, Ashley Rock able to get up. And if you look out there, just about everybody looks about the same size except for the libero. They're all 5'11", 6 foot tall.
Hotailing hits that one, keeps it alive for the second, and even off the ceiling. Great job by the captains. Beatty, Hotailing, short hit, well played. Heady play that time by Hotailing, getting over the top of that line and just not giving the captains enough time to adapt.
And all these roll shots are catching the captains aware, as they've been used to seeing Washington and Lee, Emory hit the ball hard as they can, pounding the back line.
Fong now at the line, sends it very low, and that'll do it. That's the ace. Great job by the 5'4" freshman. And the Knights still hanging around, 19-22. Again at the service line is Fong. Low to the back line. There's the set, hard shot. Boy, beautiful set that time. Rachel Conway connecting with Brianna Sutton. That's going to cause nightmares all over the CAC this season.
Yeah, especially if Brianna starts to get her timing down. Right now she's a little bit out of sync on the outside. They brought her to the middle and just didn't let the Knights have any time to react.
Oh, great job by the Knights keeping that one alive. Beatty in particular, that one goes into the net. The Knights again hanging around. They're now down 3 points, but it's time to make a move if they're going to catch up in this, because that 25-point number is coming very, very quickly.
Yeah, unfortunately, all the captains have to do is play side-out volleyball.
And that's a point for the Knights on a double touch. Boy, we have made it almost all the way through the first set without seeing a double touch. That was a very popular call in the last match we had here at home. Ho-tailing back at the line. Nice short set. Great job by the Knights digging it out. Keeping it alive. Set to the outside. Touch pass over the top. Great dig by the Knights, keeping it alive. Back over. Hard shot. Fong is able to get a piece of it, but not enough to keep it in play. 24. We now have set point for the captains.
Well, these back row defenders are really going to have to pay attention to as they get more heated up. The sweat's on their forearms. The ball's going to slide a little bit more off of it. You see the captains out in long sleeve shirts. I advocate wearing long sleeve shirts too, just for that reason. It keeps the moisture off the forearms and you're able to control the ball a little bit better.
Well, we'll see. We're closing out this first set. If the captains do it now or the Knights are able to extend. Again, a little bit of moisture on the floor, taking care of that. Brianna Sutton, reigning player of the week, at the service line for the captains. Handled the line, it's over in one. Not what the Knights were looking for. Played off the head, it looked like, of a defender, and that's going to be set point. The captains take the first one, 25-21. All in all, I think a pretty heroic effort by the Knights there in the first set.
Well, it was a nice showing, and they've done things that they're capable of doing and not trying to be somebody else. A lot of the roll shots, I'm sure Christopher Newport hadn't seen that so far this season because they've been playing teams that really want to try to pound the ball to the back row and make you miss. The Knights take advantage of what they have available to them. Great showing, just too many missed opportunities.
You're right, and there's, if you look, there were, I think, more aces by Southern Virginia in that first set there, so great job at the service line, but you cannot play a more difficult opponent than you and make those small mistakes. Those 50-50 balls, you have to win them if you're playing against a more athletic opponent. So heading here into the second set, what do you think we can expect, Mike?
For the Knights, it's got to be more of the same. Be smart at the front line. Make sure that you hit your roll shots to the places that they're not. Take advantage of all the situations and opportunities that the captains give you and hope for the best.
Well, we'll see if the Knights can do just that coming into the second set here. We're going to break away for about 2 minutes. We'll be back for the second set then.
We're back for the second set now. The Knights come out with their same lineup as they had in the first set. Looks like the captains will be starting the same way. The Knights will start off with the serve, and hopefully we keep the serve in and can get, again, another lead to begin with, put the captains a little bit back on their heels and have a great showing in this second set to start off.
It looked like the captains were, as you said, a little shaky at the beginning. It looked like that may have rattled them just a little bit. It took a while for them to get back in in comfort in system as the first set progressed. They seem to get a little more comfortable, but it's nice if you can put a little scare in them at the beginning.
It definitely is, and again, it's all about the roll shots. I think the environment that we're in is shaking them a little bit. They're not used to this closed-in environment, and hopefully the Knights can take advantage of the captains really being a little bit out of sync.
Yeah, you want to be welcoming to your guests, but you're okay if they're not exactly comfortable.
Exactly.
Beatty starts off with service for the Knights. Great play at the Knights, or at the net that time by the Knights. And it stays in bounds off the ceiling. There's that home court advantage helping the Knights out a little bit. The Knights know how to adapt to that play off the ceiling maybe a little bit more. Allison Teagues able to put it down hard, and the Knights score the first point.
And along the sidelines, the height of the building is just legal.
Touch shot over the top. Beatty able to get underneath it. Owen that time looked like there's a little bit of confusion as to who had it, but speaking of confusion, I could be wrong. I think this is 2 sets in a row where the Knights take the first couple of points.
Yes, it is. And that time the two blockers got the ball stuck in their hands. They didn't press across the net enough, and Moa was able to take advantage of that.
Yeah, and trying to get that contact but not a lift, very difficult. Captain's unable to do it. Dug out at the net that time. The back set, hard down. Great job by Fong to Beatty. Blocked at the net that time. Teagues with a lot of power, but it gets redirected right back at her.
And it looks like the captains may have made a small adjustment in their blocking scheme to compensate for that left-hander.
We'll find out as this set progresses for sure. Hotailing starts it and ends it. Hard to the back line. Fong, Beatty, Hotailing. It's a player in the net, I believe, isn't it, Mike?
Yes, they called, I think it's number 15 in the net. As we see Layton coming in for Teagues.
Knights up 3-1 now. And a strong start again here in the second set, similar to what they did in the first. Layton with the service. One-handed set. Owen, Beatty, Hotailing, blocked, kept alive by Beatty. Played over again. Lots of net play this volley. Phillips off the hands of the defender. Kept alive by the captains. Hard shot. Wow, that was a lot of power. Brianna Sutton, good form.
Great form, and really the thing that made that play was the setter, Rachel Conaway, able to get up and get a touch on the block.
3-2 now. The Knights still in the lead. Trying to extend it. They led in the first set, I believe, 4-2. And then it turned the way of Christopher Newport. Them able to come back, close the gap, and then take the lead. The Knights surely would like to extend the time they can stay in the lead this set. See what they can do. Beatty. Owen.
Oh, and they got Owen in the net.
Just barely.
On her follow through, she was able to come down on top of the net. She was going up against a triple block, and she needs to see that earlier. And again, go to those very short corners.
Yeah, good thought. Just not able to quite complete the motion without coming into the net.
And now we're starting to see a lot of condensation on the floor, a lot of sweat on the floor, and it may slow the game down for the next set or so.
You think that favors one team more than the other at this point?
I think that'll favor the Knights a little bit more. Christopher Newport wants to play fast.
Long set that time. Phillips unable to bring it down. Good thought, though, with the reverse in the court there with the long set.
Yeah, and Hannah just got too far up underneath the set. They're not able to snap down on it.
Rachel Conway to Layton, putting a roof on it. Beatty able to react enough to get contact, but not enough to keep it in play. Conway continuing at the service line. Layton, Beatty, great job. Fong sends it over. Hard shot that time. Great defense by the Knights, but need to turn those hands in just a little bit. Brianna Sutton able to play it off the hands of the defender out of bounds.
Hands and your shoulders, so they need to swing through.
Great point. This time Hotailing sends it over, and not a smart play. I think Conway, if she'd have let it go, it would have been out, but getting out there, when you're not sure you play it, she wasn't sure she played it. I'm not sure she should have played it. Fong now with the service for Southern Virginia, now trailing 4-6. Looking to close that gap.
And an ace. Nice float serve as it drops right at the back line.
Right there on the line. 5-6, now the opportunity to tie it up. Good set, hard down the line. Knights keep it alive in the back line. Shot by Phillips off the hands of the defender. Still alive by the captains. Good shot, Fong dugs it out. Ooh, Phillips off the set from Beatty into the hands of the defender, and it finds the floor. Point over to the captains.
And if you watch the captains, especially on their block, they do what's called a swing block, where they'll come face the sideline, and then as they jump, will turn their body back into the middle of the court, able to get more height and really direct the ball down to the floor easier.
Leighton Beatty, push shot by Hotailing, but just a hair long. It's those little, game of inches in that case, that you've got to get those 50-50 balls. That's what we're talking about. Beatty, hard shot. Phillips able to put it down. And very quickly turning that service back around. 6-8 now.
And that's where Hannah is most effective, is when she's about 3 feet off the net, able to see the block and find the seams. When they put her too far into the net or back toward the attack line, her efficiency level drops.
Once again, a little bit of moisture on the court. Want to make sure we clean that up. Avoid the risk of injury to players. Claire Hotailing sends it in. Captains push to the back line. Great dig out by Leighton to Beatty to Phillips. Off the hands of the defender, the Knights closing it out 7-8 now.
Again, Phillips got into that sweet spot, about 3 feet off the net, able to use the block to her advantage.
Hotailing again at the line. Back set again, pushed over. Fong digs it out to Beatty. Hotailing off the cord. Stays alive, Christopher Newport now. Push over the top. Fong keeps it alive. Beatty able to get an arm on it, but it sails out of bounds.
Yeah, just couldn't chicken wing it to keep it in bounds.
I'm impressed with the Knights' reaction time on a lot of these, able to get underneath these balls, coming down as quickly as they are. Getting contact on them at all is impressive, but they've just got to get a little bit more on it to be able to keep them playable.
Well, as we said last time, we're going to see what Coach Nicole Gwynn's philosophy is. We know that when she came here, she was a libero and then turned over to a setter. The key for the Knights is really going to be their defense and let their offense come along as they mature.
Now, every coach brings their own little style of play to things, eh? Hotailing with the initial contact to Leighton, sent to the back line by Beatty. Outside set. Great position by Hotailing, over in 2.
And we got a lift. Double hit. 1 per set is not bad.
I was going to say, we're averaging 1 per set right now, which is pretty good comparatively. Hotailing with the initial contact. Not sure who got that one, but it gets over. Good job by Claire. Great job by the Knights front line that time. Hannah Phillips and Emma Evans combining for the block. Haven't seen a lot of blocks at the net by Southern Virginia so far today, but that one very impressive.
Yeah, they were in the right place, set up right, and it helped that the captains really drew the pass off the net and was set off the net.
Phillips at the service line. Short set again. Great job by Hotailing on that one. Sets that one up though. Fong able to get underneath it, but unable to preserve the play. 8-11 now. The Knights still keeping it close, this 3-point gap, but it's again what we saw in the first set and starts to extend. The Knights cannot allow that to happen.
Hannah Phillips comes out. We have to kind of wonder, she's not looking like herself, not very animated, so we don't wonder if the flu bug that's been going around here at Southern Virginia has gotten her.
That one off the antenna. Point over to the captains. And Coach Nicole Gwynn taking a timeout. So as you mentioned, the Knights the captains, a quick succession of difficult contests over the weekend. The Knights as well, we mentioned a lot more on the last broadcast, a short roster.
Very short.
That starts to get into your legs pretty quickly.
Well, the good thing about it was they played a match on Friday, then played a match on Saturday. And that's okay, you can get into that, but once you start playing 2 or 3 matches a day over a weekend and the travel, then it kind of starts to zap you. But looking at the Knights now, you know, we have a flu going around the campus, and some of them look like they're being affected by it.
You know, Michael Jordan played through it, but
That's right.
He's kind of a special guy.
He was kind of paid to play through it too, right?
That's true.
He didn't have to study for Dr. McDonald's exam.
Amen, brother. That's
if he did, he wouldn't have been out there.
That's very true. It's getting through the flu, being able to play is one thing. Being able to get through a flu and pass an exam is another as well. Well, so far again, the Knights trailing here in this second set by 4 to the captains. The captains taking the first set, 25-21, I believe. Pretty darn close. Impressive effort by the Knights here. Again, moisture on the court really becoming a problem. Just such a humid day, just muggy with all the rain and everything that we've had.
Well, this plays into the Knights' hands too. Slows everything down. Christian Newport wants to go, get the ball, serve quickly, and let's move. The Knights, not their style of play.
Harper at this time. Beatty with the set and Hoteling with the push shot. Over on 2, great job at the front line by the Knights. Push shot back over by Hoteling. Set that time, and the shot is long. Hannah Miller just a hair long on that, and point over to Southern Virginia. Melissa Owen checking in for Ofa Moasam Fong. Evans sends it hard to the back line. Push shot over, great job. Hoteling able to keep it alive. Beatty sends it over in 2. And again, Teague's able to get a hand on it. Knights are able to get to it, but keeping it in play and controlling it, a different matter. Service from the captains. Yeah, Fong having to really come up on that quickly, not being able to play it where they'd like it.
Yeah, and anytime you put an overpass over, it doesn't matter if you're playing the number 3 team in the nation or you're playing the last team in your league. That overpass like that will be put down.
Yep, they just start licking their chops. Owen on the run. It is kept alive for the moment, though, but that's 3 hits. And point over to Southern Virginia. Hanging around now at the 4-point deficit. Looking to make up some room now. Valerie Beatty at the line. Dug out. Great job playing it. It is still alive. Up front. Send it back over to the captains. Again, still alive. Ooh, Owen with a great block. Not able to do it the second time, though. So that's what I was talking about there in the first set, is getting out of system, but then quickly snapping back into it. The captain's able to kind of scramble a bit, but get back very quickly. Hoteling. Beatty, Evans, not quite over.
No, Allison wasn't able to.
Teagues, excuse me.
Again, the set was a little bit too far away from the net, and she had to try to make an adjustment and just couldn't do it.
There's that playing fast that you were talking about. Hoteling with a roll shot. Very short set, well handled by Rock. Oh no.
Claire laughs a little bit. Wet spot on the floor.
Well, the facial expression at first, it was a laugh. I thought it was pain. I was like, oh goodness, we're in trouble. So glad to see that it's just a 1-point loss, not one player lost.
She's a little bit of an embarrassment there, but there's nothing to be embarrassed about when there's,
absolutely.
When there's water on the floor.
Well, and especially, again, you try to adjust to that, and it may very well be you know, you get the point at the cost of an ACL or a PCL or an MCL, and that's not a good trade.
And you would think with the way they're wiping the moisture up off the floor that we have an ice arena underneath the floor, but it's just the humidity's here at 100%.
Yeah, not so much. Beatty coattailing. Back over the captains. Pushed way to the back line, but it is long. So close. That 50-50 call going the way of the Knights, which they need now, trailing by 6.
Yeah, and Caden Smith was reaching for it, and at the last second just pulled her hand back as quickly as possible.
Smart play. Knights to get out. Layton, Beatty, Phillips. Over in 2. Great dig out by Layton. Beatty, Owen, and just blocked at the net.
Getting a lot of congestion there on the right side. Knights need to try, and I know it's hard to do, but try to make sure that they keep spread out to let that captain's block be as far apart as possible.
Owen with a good shot that time, but fielded well. Beatty keeps it alive. Fong again. And the shot to the back line by Layton. That point going over to the captains, extending that lead now. Phillips, Beatty, Owen. And there's that overpass we're talking about.
And although the captains aren't looking very pretty, they're being very efficient with their play. The Knights starting to wear down a little bit under the relentless pressure that the captains are putting on them.
20-11 now. Phillips, Beatty, Phillips off the hands of the defender. Back to the captains. Hard shot to the back. Beatty, Owen, overpass, but great play by Phillips to keep it alive. Back set and hard down the line.
And played by the trainer, Chad Mahaffey.
Yeah, good job. If trainer Mahaffey would have kept it a little farther in play, we might have been able to keep that alive, but I don't think he's on the roster anyway. So.
Yeah, and he doesn't pass the physical either. Doesn't have enough hair.
Or eligibility. I was going to go eligibility, but hey, you know.
Well, I can talk about the not enough hair, so.
Fair enough. Well, this point, a long stretch of points going the way of the captains. Difficult situation for the Knights. Now trailing 10 with just 4 to go. What's the goal at this point, Mike? Next point?
Next point. That's all you can do is try to play for next points. Don't look at the scoreboard. I would tell my players, don't look at the scoreboard. I'll let you know when the set's over. You keep on playing and win the next point, and just focus on that. Win the next point, then we'll move on to whatever else is going to happen.
Yeah, we mentioned a few times last year. I don't think in volleyball there's a 10-point play. If there is, I'm not familiar with it.
Sometimes I wish there was a 10-point play.
Yeah, maybe if you can hit the ball in and actually crack the court, something like that. But we are not at that point yet. So we'll get there. We'll get there. So right now it's just 1 point apiece. We'll see what we can do, and we'll come. We'll see how much of a gap we can close. Service over the Knights. Phillips, Beatty, Owen, just a little bit short. And that extends over. 22-11 now. The timeout unable to break the service, unfortunately. Played at the line.
Nice.
There it is.
And that's what the Knights need to do, is just continually go 1 point at a time. They don't need to be frustrated. There's nothing really to be frustrated about. They have to remember, we're playing the number 3 team in the nation. They're number 3 for a reason.
Yeah, absolutely. Hoteling there, good to see in that same place, able to shake off the slip she had before, going up confidently there, and a very important breakage of service. Touch shot over, played well off the net by Evans, to Fong, to Phillips, off the hands of the defenders. Back of the net, back set, touch over the top. Smart play that time. I believe that was Maddie McCann for the captains.
Well, I know that there's no such thing as a moral victory, but the Knights are doing everything they can to make sure that Sutton will not be like a two-time player of the week.
Absolutely. She's definitely had some powerful kills so far, but generally quiet.
Yeah, she hasn't hit double figures yet, and if the Knights keep playing her the way that they have for the first 2 sets, she might not break double figures.
Well, moral victor or not, it's a great statistic that the Knights would like to walk away with. Phillips, Beatty, Hotailing off the hands of the defenders. Second effort kept alive by Rock, Fong, Beatty, Hotailing, blocked Hotailing, Beatty. And it goes over the net.
And into the antenna.
24-12 now, set point. Christopher Newport with the opportunity to close. Dug out by Layton to Fong. Phillips into the back. Christopher Newport to the back line. Oh, very soft hit, but kept alive and off the light fixture. That will do it. And 25-12 will be the final score of the second set here. Southern Virginia now 2 sets down to Christopher Newport. We have a special treat for you folks at home. You may remember last year on one of our broadcasts, we had one of the first introductions to campus of our First Lady, Diane Willcox. We have her again on the broadcast with us tonight. Your thoughts on the first couple of sets?
Well, you know, I'm really impressed with how our team is playing tonight. They're playing with so much energy, and I think they're playing in a very united way, and they're really fighting. I mean, they're really, really fighting. I feel like every point, they're right in there. They're making a tremendous effort. I really think they've done great.
Absolutely. It's a very, very difficult opponent, but they are not backing down.
No.
They've not been playing afraid all night.
That's exactly right, Art. I feel the same way. And, I mean, they could easily be intimidated because Christopher Newport is ranked. You know,
they're just number 3 in the country, and they've only lost to number 1 and number 2 in the country. But you know,
I mean, what can we say? But no, and I was wondering how the team would come out and how they would play, and I just think they've been very, very impressive because they've showed courage, they've showed stamina, and they've really worked together and had a lot of high energy, and like they're interacting with each other in a way that's so positive.
Absolutely. Well, and to your point as well, staying very positive. That's a difficult thing when you're
Yes.
down against a difficult opponent, when perhaps maybe a disappointing season compared to what they did last year. Right. Certainly some respectable wins so far this year,
right.
But not able to string together the chain that they had last year.
That's right. And they seem, I mean, I feel like their spirit is every bit as strong as it was last year, and that in every single time that they are competing for the ball, I feel like they're 150% in the game, and it's really wonderful to see.
And that's difficult to do when you have a full roster. It's even more difficult to do when you have a short-handed roster,
right.
as we do.
Yeah, no, I'm really, really proud of all of them, and I think they're really representing the school in a great way.
Absolutely. Well, you've got a year of Southern Virginia athletics under your belt now that you've been able to come out and participate in it, and see what are your thoughts of athletics here on campus?
Well, I never cease to be amazed at the spirit of the athletes on this campus. I feel like they're so willing to work hard and to give their really a superior effort. That's what I would say in every single sport. And I mean, they're just always in the game, and the thing that impresses me maybe the most is their sense of community.
Absolutely. You know, you go to some programs and winning is job one, and certainly you can tell the teams here like winning. It's important to them, but but there are more important things. The character of athlete we see, and as you said, the sense of community. It's great to see teams coming out and supporting other teams on campus and all that. Such a brotherhood or sisterhood that way.
That's exactly right. So I couldn't be more proud of them all.
Well, great. Thank you so much for being on the broadcast with us today.
You.
Diane Willcox, again, wife of President Reed Willcox, who's been here on campus for about a year now. Great to have her with us. As we get ready to start the third set here, the Knights trail 2-0 to Christopher Newport, again, number 3 in the country in Division III, holding their own but unable to find a winning set yet. We'll see if it changes here in the third. The Knights able to score the first 2 points in sets 1 and 2, but the captain striking first here in the third.
Yeah, that's not a good sign. That means that they're starting to find their rhythm and could put this away very quickly.
That time, Phillips to Owen to Hotailing. Hotailing going a bit long. And the early 2-0 by Christopher Newport. Abby McIntyre. Back set that time. Great dig out by Phillips to Beatty to Owen. Kept alive again. And that goes wide. Southern Virginia able to pick up a point, now 2-1.
You know, watching the Knights right now, they have the defense to stay with anybody. Obviously, Christopher Newport, if they can stay with him, they can stay with anybody. It's just that they don't have the diversity yet in their offensive repertoire.
Boy, that just off the fingers of both players there at the net. The roll going the way of the captains. Is that something we need to add to the offensive repertoire?
Well, if you could add a 6-foot sitter, that would be.
Sure.
We just have to have Valerie grow a lot.
There you go. Oh, nice over the back play.
Yeah, now Conway's trying to take over the game and put this away quickly.
Trixie Hobbits. And that will help. Service into the net by Rachel Close. But hey, 4-2 is how both of the last two sets started, but reversed with the Knights going up 4. So hey, this could be a good thing. You never know.
Well, we'll wait and reserve judgment to the very end.
There you go. Fong with the service. And overpass. And there you go.
There's the overpass that we talked about earlier that the captains took care of this time. The Knights were able to take it. Emma Evans gets up and able to push it down for the point.
Yeah, eaten up well. Phillips and Evans both there, ready to capitalize. Fong at the service line. Set to the back. Fong with the dig. Beatty. Phillips. Relatively soft, but stays alive. Push shot over. Alive again. And the roll to the back by Layton. But it does go out of bounds. Substitution coming in. Maddie McCann will replace Evelyn Harper for the captains. Into the net.
Again, here's all the opportunity that the Knights have. Defensive-wise, again, play with anybody. Now their offense really has to work in order to catch up to it.
Claire Hotailing with the service. Go to the back line again. Over to Beatty. Short set, Evans. Alive again for the captains. And there's that hard shot. But point over to Southern Virginia as Brianna Sutton, again, reigning CAC Player of the Week.
And National Player of the Week.
And National Player of the Week. Sending it long.
And the Knights' defenses look like they're frustrating her.
Very true. That one on the run. Good job by Layton. To Beatty. Phillips gets it off the hands of the defenders, and the Knights able to take the lead. I don't know that they've led this far into a set in the first two sets. I think they were up 4-2. I think they were maybe tied 5-5 in the first. Things boding well. Oh!
And the commentator's curse.
Commentator curse. That was my bad, folks. I'm sorry. I'll apologize to Claire after the match for that one.
We need to learn just to keep quiet sometimes.
Yep, there you go. Phillips, and that one's wide. Now 6-7, back in favor of Christopher Newport. Difficult handle, but the Knights able to preserve it. Hotailing sends it over. Back set, just a push, and great play at the net. It's Hannah Phillips.
And a poor set there by Conway, and now the Knights again take advantage, win this point.
You know, this either looks really good for the Knights or really poor for Christopher Newport. They've really not been that terrible. Oh, that looked like a carry to me. Oh, goodness. Maybe 2 in a row, but Christopher Newport able to keep it alive. Speaking of kept alive, once again, there's Sutton, and it finds the floor. Your thoughts, Mike?
She may be getting a little bit on track. But the first one, the set, I don't think was a lift. But the next one, it looked like it kind of got redirected.
maybe just a touch.
Yeah, the ball was traveling one area, and she looked like she wrapped her hand around. But we're not the referees.
I got confused and thought thought she was going for a dunk. That's generally an indication.
As long as you keep your hand on top, that's fine. But it looked like she got her hand a little bit underneath it and redirected it.
Well, we'll see. Phillips, Beatty, and it stays in bounds. Oh, just kidding. Good job by the referee to get out of the way of that one, but I don't know. Beatty. And double touch.
Again, you can start to see how fast that the captains want to play. As soon as the referee blows or beckons to serve, they serve the ball.
Fong. Beatty over in 2. Short set. Great job at the net. Emma Evans. Boy, she's really become one of the more prolific defenders for Southern Virginia.
Yeah, again, growing up a lot from last year, coming into this year. But it looks like both teams are really out of system right now.
It's true, and I got to imagine that favors the Knights.
We would tend to hope so.
Ooh, a lot of power behind that one. Hannah Miller.
And that's one of the cleaner connections we've seen. And we've only seen maybe 6 or 7 kills on both sides that have been really clean connections.
Very true. Hoteling. Beatty. Teagues. Ooh, that sounded uncomfortable.
And number 6, Evelyn Harper pats her chest, trying to knock it off like it didn't hurt, but we know.
Yeah, if we can hear it from here with headsets on, it was not comfy. Beatty, Owen, kept alive by the captains, sent back over, overpass. Overpass in English is no bueno in Spanish, by the way.
No bueno in Spanish?
That's the translation.
Okay. So for all our listeners that are multilingual.
Yep. I will plan to get torn apart on that in the comment section, but that's okay. Beatty, smart play over in 2, scoring the point for the Knights.
Well, we'll ask Ofamoa how to say it in Hawaiian.
There you go.
I have a couple Tongans and Samoans in some classes, so I'll ask them, and we'll be really bilingual then, multilingual.
Outstanding. Good effort by Hannah Phillips trying to get underneath that one, but the power of Christopher Newport starting to come out. We really haven't seen so much of it in the first 2 sets, but they're really swinging for the fences now.
And it may not be so much the power really, but the experience level too. Most of these players that we're looking at are juniors or seniors on the captain's team. Speaking
of the defense, as you did earlier, though, I believe that's the first ace for the captains in 3 sets. Speaks very highly of the Knights' defense. Blocked in the net. Owen able to put it over. Over in 2. Again, kind of dunky.
They'll let that go as long as they keep their hand up on top of the ball. And when you have a 6-foot setter, they can keep their hand up on top of the ball for a long time.
You know better than I do, Mike. Well, 9-16 now. Timeout taken by Coach Nicole Gwynn. Got a little bit left to go here. The Knights, at this point, hoping to pick up a set or at least close the gap here. Now trailing 2-0, as well as 9-16 here in the 3rd set against Christopher Newport.
Again, the Knights really have to sit back and say, okay, look at this game. We played great defense. Our offense needs to catch up, but when we have an opportunity to get another point, especially on the service line, we really have to buckle down and make sure that happens.
Well, and here's the question, Mike. As I looked through the top 25 of D3 today, I didn't see any other CAC team there. There were some. There was another team that got votes, I believe, Mary Washington, perhaps. But I don't think the Knights are going to see a team this difficult probably for the rest of the season.
Well, maybe not just difficult, but maybe a different type of system.
Sure.
That could give the Knights more problems.
Sure.
Think about maybe Salisbury. I know the coach at Frostburg State is really starting to round her team into shape. So
we'll see as this season goes on. But for now, what's in front of them? Hoteling That time, Caden Smith, and Hoteling finds it. Great dig. And that push just a little bit short. It's Evelyn Harper with a good dig that time. Though ultimately the point's still back over the Knights.
And until the offense really starts to catch up, the diversity starts to catch up, the Knights just have to keep on playing this kind of side-out volleyball, trying to make sure that their defense creates enough opportunities for the offense of the Captains to mess up.
Service by Layton. Great dig by Layton in the back row. Owen sends it over in 2. And there's that connection we talked about earlier. Great set, Miller finding Brianna Sutton.
And you can tell when Sutton's in the groove because she's leaning forward on that hit and able to angle the ball straight down.
Mm-hmm. And who'da thunk? Some moisture on the floor.
And the Captains should be kind of used to this. They did play over at Washington and Lee this last weekend, and again in Washington Lee's gym, there is no air conditioning to control moisture, and they have to wipe up the floor after every point because they have a pool underneath their gym.
Yeah, that's a good point here. We don't have a pool underneath it, but again, they played there on Saturday, and we've had nothing but rain since then. Phillips, Beatty, Owen blocked to the net, but way to keep it alive. Phillips ends it long. A little bit out of system maybe, shot on the run. Beatty, Owen, blocked back at the net. You know, in the last match, Owen really was able to do a lot more damage at the net. I don't think she had the height comparison, typically used to having an advantage. Not so much here against the Captains.
Well, the athletic ability of the middles for the Captains is just a little bit better than what we saw in the last match.
Nice kind of short pop set there by Christopher Newport. Now extending the lead, 10-19. Phillips, Beatty, Phillips finds a hole in the defense. Tricky shot again by Conway. Phillips touches over, kept alive. Roll shot, Layton, Beatty with a back set. Good thought by Hoteling, but blocked that time.
And that's the next evolutionary step that the Knights need to be able to take. Their defense is great. Force a roll shot or a down ball to come over or a free ball to come over, and then they have to be able to put that away for their own point.
Absolutely. When your defense can get that stop for you, your offense has to be able to convert, has to be able to do something with it because your defense can only do it so many times. Something we've said about Southern Virginia football as well, the defense carrying and needing to do it. It's a principle really throughout sports. We're hoping to start moving on. Phillips kept alive, very impressive. Still alive for Christopher Newport. Kind of a push that time, but it goes into the net. The Knights with the point.
You see some great play on both sides of the net there. Both teams going down on the floor to pancake the ball up.
True. So we're referencing Southern Virginia football and difficult opponents. Boy, they are heading into
this week
Wesley.
Into the Lions' den.
It will be very, very difficult match for them on Saturday. We wish them the best of luck. Christopher Newport, Brianna Sutton, not getting it on that one. Phillips, just a little bit low into the net.
Well, obviously, you know, the big key is go play your best, but bring back all your players safe.
Absolutely.
And that's the goal of any team when they travel, is to make sure that all their players stay safe and bring them back with no further injuries.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately for the men and women's soccer team and volleyball team, that just hasn't happened this year.
It really hasn't. Very, very injury prone. Point that time over the Knights.
Nice job by Claire finding the seam in the block and able to just put it down.
Home contest, I believe, this week for men's and women's soccer as well. Tomorrow and Thursday. I believe we're broadcasting both of those. Phillips, hard shot, but blocked at the net.
Yeah, I think it's a double-header tomorrow that we're going to be doing for the men and women. They're
Oh, is it?
out-of-conference games. I think the last one.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
Of the season.
Hard service, Hotailing, good job. And smart shot by Beatty to put it over in 2. But off the hands of the defenders. Christopher Newport now looking to close. Nicole Gwynn calling the timeout. Slow things down a little bit now, 23-12. Just have to do a little bit more for the captains to close this third set. The Knights obviously looking to prolong as much as possible and see what they can put together.
Well, again, this is a learning experience for a very young team, experience-wise. And now Coach Gwynn is really trying to tell them, listen, we have nothing to be ashamed of. Keep playing the next point. Let's learn from every point because, as you alluded to, there's nobody in this conference that's going to be as good all the way around as Christopher Newport.
Well, and that also means if this is the most difficult team that you will see all season and you can learn from them, this is really your best opportunity to learn all season long because this is the best competition you've got. They're doing some things clearly right to be ranked third. What can you take away from their games so that other teams that may be, closer to your level, you can use those advantages and get over the top and pull some W's. Hard jump serve, sails long. You could tell Brianna Sutton a little eager on that one, wanted to get a little flashy.
Well, when you're up by 10, you can afford to do that.
And it's up by 10 in 2 sets, certainly. Phillips, short set. That one put down by Tessa Clematis, just came in the game.
And it took about 2.5 sets for the captains to start to get comfortable in their offense. That's a great testament to the defense of Southern Virginia.
Absolutely. Tessa now at the service line. And a hard shot.
Down the line off of Conway.
Allison Teagues, I believe, with the point there for Southern Virginia. She's been relatively quiet today, but perhaps showing Miss Sutton she's got a bit of an arm herself.
Well, it's going to be fun to watch her develop, especially in the next 2 or 3 years. And if they can get someone to come over on the outside and put her on the right side consistently, she can get a lot of kills there.
Maddie McCann stuffed that time by the front line of the Knights. The Knights stringing some points together here in this third set. Emma Evans with the service now. Over in 1 by Phillips. Back set. And a good dig by Hotailing, but that will do it. The final set, 25-15. Southern Virginia drops the match to the captains 3-0. To be honest, this makes their 11th 3-0 out of 15 games. Nothing to be ashamed of.
No,
it's a pretty reasonable outcome. And certainly the Knights showing some heart, as Diane Willcox alluded to, and you did as well. There's a lot to be proud of in the damage they were able to do in these 3 sets.
Well, there's some great building blocks there for the Knights. Their defense, again, outstanding. Probably one of the better defenses that we've seen out of the Knights in the past couple years. Offensively, they've got to be able to find some kind of diversity, and with their low numbers, I don't know if that's going to happen this year as dramatically as Coach Gwynn would like to see.
Sure.
But as they build and as she builds her team, if her defense can stay where it is now and get a little bit better on some of the out-of-system balls, but their offense can improve and find some kind of diversity and maybe some swing hitters, then we can see some great things from the Knights.
Well, the Knights have already been able to put together a series of wins this year against some reasonably difficult opponents. It's still, maybe they won't be able to get the diversity on offense, maybe not create as much as they'd like this season, but certainly still a lot to play for, a lot of very possible wins for them as the season goes on.
Well, all you have to do is be in the top 6 to make it to the tournament, and that's really what the goal is for every team here, is to make it to the Capital Athletic Conference tournament at the end of the season. Top 6 really is not out of the realm of possibility for this team.
Well, we'll see, again, as this season goes on, just how many wins the Knights are able to put together. I think that'll do it for us tonight. Again, in 3 sets, Christopher Newport captains, number 3 in Division III in the country, able to close out the Knights. We will see you next time for Art Furler. I'm for Art Furler. For Mike Harmon, the rest of the broadcast team, I'm Art Furler. Everybody have a good night.